Okay, so I'm back, and what I want to do is I want to add two videos to a chapter that I want my students to watch and then analyze. So one video I've already downloaded, and I'm going through the process of converting it using QuickTime Player. The other video, this one, Hans Rosling's 200 Countries, 200 Years, tells the story of progress, and that's what we're going to be looking at. We're looking at the question, is progress possible? So I want this video on my iPad book. Okay, in my iPad book. The first thing I need to do is actually download it. So I'm going to use download helper here. Let's see. I'm going to use download helper here to download the video. So download helper is a Firefox add-on. There's a million and one ways to download YouTube videos, but I'm going to grab the highest resolution, 480p, and I'm going to save it to my desktop. And it's going to download. When that's done downloading, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open it with QuickTime Player and export it to the web for broadband. Okay, and that's going on right now with another video. Let's see if it's done. So here's the export progress. So about 5 seconds that will be done, and then I'll insert. So that one's all set. So is progress possible? So here's the web links, and the web links are great. It's okay to have these links in your book. Students can click on the link, and if they have internet, they can go and watch the videos. But we're not going to make them internet reliant. What we're going to do is we're going to put the video right in the iBook. Now, of course, every video you add makes the iBook quite a bit larger in terms of file size. But I'll show you how to deal with that in a moment. So we've got Steven Pinker, a brief history here. So it's in the Steven Pinker folder and resources. And let's see, so here's the M4V. Alright, we're going to drag that in there. And there's the video. So we're going to give it a title, Steven Pinker. On the myth of violence, and we're going to take, I'm actually going to take this just for argument's sake, just to make it look nice, and we've got, once again, the formatting. So we've got the formatting here, and we want we certainly want the instructions. So I'm going to click and drag this. Let's see. And make this a little bit smaller like that, and we're going to shrink it, and we're going to make it as large as we can here. So for each of the following films, try to identify the main arguments and supporting details the presenter provides to back up his claims. Okay, so there's one film, and then we're going to go to another film. We're going to add, so we want to add a page, so we're going to add, let's see, section text. Probably we'll just add another page. So now what we have, if you remember, we've got the video downloaded. So I'm going to minimize that. This is the video we downloaded, the FLV, and I'm going to open that, hopefully, with QuickTime. And if that will not open with QuickTime, then what we can do is we can actually convert it using Handbrake to MP4, which will open with QuickTime. So exactly, so the file format is not recognized. Now ideally, when you're using download helper, you want to try to download the MP4. If there was an MP4 version here, that would have worked. Okay. If there's not an MP4 version of the YouTube download, then again you need to use Handbrake. The Handbrake app to identify the source. So I'm going to go to my desktop, and it's going to be Hans Rosling. It's going to scan, and once it's done scanning, Start will pop up. You can click Start. That'll convert it to an MP4, which you can then open with QuickTime Player and convert to an M4V in the proper encoding. It's a long process, but once you've got the iBook, it's there. So while we're doing that, I'm going to go back to iBook, and I'm actually just going to take these instructions again, and we'll go. Actually, you know, we've got two videos, so why don't we take this video. So I'm going to actually add. I'm going to pause the video while I finish this up. Okay, so Handbrake has just informed me to put my cocktail down. The Handbrake queue is done. So that means that the movie has converted. So here's Hans Rosling M4V. And just for argument's sake, I'm going to try to throw that M4V in. No, it won't work. So once again, we're going to have to open with QuickTime Player. Okay, and then we're going to have to export it to the web in broadband format. Okay, so QuickTime should be opening that momentarily. There it is. Okay, we're going to go to File and Export for Web. And I'm just going to click the broadband one, and it's going to go in the History on Film folder. So I'm going to export that. So that's going to export it into that folder, which I can then put into the iBook. So we'll go back to the iBook, and I created another section here that I'm going to work on and come back to you after I finish this section. Okay, so let's see. It looks like the export is finished. So I'm going to go to my Hans Rosling folder, into the resources, and I'm going to pull out the M4V, place that. Hans Rosling, and got some content there, and I want to get the 200 countries. All right, now we're, oh, that's interesting. Let's see. So we just want to resize that, and I'm going to resize that, make it look pretty, and get back. So there it is, all pretty. So we've got a section on Steven Pinker, Is Progress Possible? One on Hans Rosling, again, that question, and then we're going to continue. I'm going to add a little more content and then come back to you and show you some other widgets you can add. Okay, so I've added some more content here. I've added another photo, some statistics, and an image here, a link to another website with more statistics, some more instructions. I'm going to put another little video clip from the documentary with a link here. So now I'm going to show you another widget. Okay, and this time I'm going to add a keynote presentation. So I've created this keynote presentation beforehand, and basically here's the presentation. I'm going to go below here, and I'm going to grab my presentation, and you don't really even need to use that widget. I'm going to actually get rid of that. I'll just show you, if you've got a keynote presentation, all you need to do is just drag it in to your iBook. Minimize that, and it will actually load the keynote file. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to add this right here. Okay, and then the video clip is going to go here. Now I'm going to add another blank page. I'm going to add another just default page at the bottom here. And I just want to show you some of the other widgets. Now first of all, you can add a text box at any point by entering text box. I'm going to delete that. You can enter in some various shapes, all sorts of different shapes, which you can click and drag, which are really great for creating diagrams. You can create a table, of course, using a lot of the same features as pages. And I'm not going to get into depth about that. You can figure out how to format that on your own. Same thing with charts. You can create some really amazing charts with iBook's author. You just enter in the data here, and the chart will be represented in your iBook momentarily. Let's see. I'm going to delete that, and I'll show you this. There's a nice chart. Okay, but I'm going to get rid of all of these. I'm working a little faster than my machine. So charts, and then some other widgets. You can adjust the orientation there. Of course, your inspector, like I've been using. Your media control, pull media from your iPhoto library, your movies, iTunes, that thing. You can add, in terms of other widgets, just wanted to show you quickly. I've showed you the gallery. I've showed you can use this to add video if you'd like. So it just puts in a little widget, and then you can drag the video in there, or you can just drag the video in directly. Let's see. You can add a review question. Now, I'm pretty sure you can only ask one question at a time. So I'm going to just leave this in here just as an example, just to show people what it looks like. Okay, and according to Jared Diamond, #1 cause of global inequality is what? Let's get a spell check. Geographic luck is the right answer. Superior racial characteristics, which is the wrong answer. Culture. Ethnicity. Let's see, we'll say education. All right. Guns, germs, steel. So there's a review question. Okay. You can also, I'm going to show you the keynote. Well, I've already showed you that it's processing. You can add an interactive image. So this is kind of neat. You can actually grab an image, and I'm going to, let's see, you can grab an image. I'll just grab this image I used earlier. And then you can move these interactives around. So you can move the dots around, and you can do something like let's see, we'll zoom out a little bit. So I can do learn more. And of course, when I'm finished with the book, I'm going to show you how all of these look. Click here to learn more about the regions of the map. And then we can do a Polytopia quiz. Take quiz. Click here to take the quiz. All right, something like that. So we're going to move this over a little bit. And then we're going to actually adjust the size of this guy. Make it a bit smaller. And then we're going to make this a bit smaller. Okay. And we'll just leave that there. Okay. So that's the interactive image. The last thing I'm going to show you, just for kicks and giggles, is the 3D image. Now I've downloaded one from the internet. The only modeling images you can use are called DAE models. So this is a newspaper.dae.zip that I downloaded from the internet. Okay, and there's a few different places you can go. This isn't really that useful for your average teacher, but what you're looking for is a newspaper is a file.dae model. If you can find one of those on the web, or if you have a student that can create one, you can put that in there. So of course this one's not loading, so I'm going to search .dae, and I'm going to find. I'm actually going to show you real quick where I can find one of those. So I'm going to go back to the internet, and I'm going to find free.dae models, and the site that I got my models from should come up as the first or second review. Looks like the internet's slowing down a little bit. So Turbo Squid. Okay, they've got a section of free models, and the one that I really enjoyed that has worked for me before was a medieval house. I'm going to try to find it real quick here. It must be on the next page. Nope. Okay. So, there it is. Okay. So I'm going to click on that guy. It's a free download, but you do need to sign up. And I've been signed up for 2 weeks, haven't gotten any spam from them, so we'll see. So here are my options. So here's a rural stall, but I don't have that. And there's a chair, but I'm going to go with this medieval building again. So you're looking for the dae.zip. I'm going to save that in History on Film, and go ahead and open that up. And there's the DAE file. So let's see if this works. It looks a bit better. Okay. So it says that the 3D may not perform well on older iPads. That's fine. It depends on the iPad you have. So I'm actually going to make this a little bit smaller just to fit on this page. And I just wanted to show you that real quickly. The one last thing I want to show you is MP3. Okay, well it's actually not MP3 but audio tracks. You can actually go to iTunes University, and look under podcasts. And if you don't see podcasts in your list here, you want to go to iTunes Preferences, and you want to make sure that that podcast is selected here, because if it's not selected, you won't see that. Okay, you can go, and I did a search for global inequality, and I found a couple great podcasts there. Now the problem is most people's iTunes is set up to record an MP3 or download files in MP3. If you and the iBook only takes an AAC file, not an MP3 file. So if it doesn't load, then what you want to do is you want to click on the file you downloaded. You want to click Advance and then create an AAC version. Okay. So you'll have two versions. You'll have an MP3 and you'll have an AAC version, and I'll show you what that looks like. We've got let's see, documents, images, movies. Oh, I don't have it in the folder yet, but I can search it. So inequality. So I've got under music, global ethics, and then the black. So the black is actually MP3, and the white is the AAC. So I can actually just drag this in here.
Global Ethics Corner from the Carnegie Council.
You hear that in the background.
Does rising income inequality pose a threat to...
Okay, so you can put that in there as well, and that will play in your iBook without any internet. So that's kind of, I mean, that's a lot of stuff. Creating a template, modifying the template, adding photos, adding video, adding photo galleries, converting photos or converting videos, using Handbrake, using iTunes, using Download Helper to download videos. It's a lot of stuff there, but you can create a really powerful document. And what you want to do when you're done is you got a couple ways of sharing it, and I'm going to talk about that in the next video.